Welcome back. We are now hearing from the President of the United States directly calling for the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve to actually be the Crypto Strategic Reserve. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down both sides of this issue. There's a lot of people who are happy about it. There's a lot of people who are not happy about it. And there's also what is actually going to happen, and are we actually going to see what the president wants come to fruition? Well, let's start right here, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button. We upload as much as possible to keep you on top of the latest happening in the financial world. These are just my opinions. You don't have to agree with them, and I may not be right, so make sure you guys do your own research. Anyway, over the weekend, President Trump posted on Truth Social and said a U.S. crypto reserve will elevate the critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed the presidential working group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, Solana, and Cardano's ADA. I will make sure that the U.S. is the crypto capital of the world. We are making America great again. And then he followed up with another post and said, obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum, as other valuable cryptocurrencies, will be the heart of the reserve. I also love Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this is a lot. This is a lot to take in, a lot to kind of unpack. Now, keep in mind, I'm recording this the beginning of March, but later on in the week, there is going to be a crypto summit at the White House, where, from my understanding, there's going to be crypto founders and crypto companies that are going to be there, kind of having some kind of conversation. But this brings us to the other point of kind of what this actually means. Well, David Sachs, who is the crypto and AI czar for the United States, there was just recent reporting that he sold all his cryptocurrency holdings, according to a person familiar with the knowledge. And then he went on X to clarify and confirm, and he said, correct, I sold all my cryptos, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, prior to the start of the administration. So I'm guessing that had more to do with conflicts of interest, potentially with investments in the AI realm and the crypto realm, if you're going to be the crypto czar, right? Especially even if you believe that David Sachs is not going to do things to like pump his bag, so to speak, obviously this would be the main point that the likes of like Elizabeth Warren would say, well, how do we have a crypto czar who's invested in cryptos, right? Even though that literally makes no sense. I mean, but anyway, I look at crypto and I'm like, listen, crypto continues to go up. Anybody who does any amount of research on crypto understands the mechanism, specifically with Bitcoin, but with Ethereum a little bit more, and then the other cryptos as well, but much less, just because their market cap is not weighted, right? Bitcoin has over $1 trillion, almost $2 trillion in market cap. So the understanding that the fiat money supply is going to continue to inflate forever, and that Bitcoin can only deflate, at least in our lifetimes, right? Obviously, it's inflating a little bit, but the maximum supply is completely capped, and we're basically almost there. When you understand these two dynamics that are opposing forces, pulling at each other very hard, obviously the price is going to go up. Anybody who does any amount of research can understand this. And so when people are like, not investing in cryptos because they're like, well, I still need to do a lot more research. It's like, yo, you've known about it for 5 years. How have you not done any research into it in 5 years at all? Because it literally takes like 1 hour to understand the basics about the supply demand situation. And that alone should get you to pretty much understand that you need to be outside of the dollar, right? Not in a savings account, right? If you have a lot of money in a savings account and nothing invested, it's completely offset, right? But anyway, this video is not all about investing. But anyway, yeah, so David Sachs has confirmed this. And I would imagine he's also confirming this right before the crypto summit, because something potentially very big is going to be occurring. But we also have Peter Schiff, who you guys know is a gold bug, saying, I get the rationale for Bitcoin reserve. I don't agree with it, but I get it. We have gold reserve. Bitcoin is digital gold, which is better than analog gold. So let's create a Bitcoin reserve too. But what's the rationale for an XRP reserve? What the hell? Why the hell would we need that? Interesting. And this kind of starts to bring us into our conversation about the concern, or obviously the Bitcoin maximalists are going to be like, no, Bitcoin only, Bitcoin only. We know that. We see that happening anywhere Bitcoin is adopted. They kind of swoop in to really make sure that it's Bitcoin only. They don't want any of the other coins for whatever reasons. But Peter Schiff here is saying he gets, I don't know if he's being satirical or not, but he's saying he gets the Bitcoin reserve, but why an XRP reserve? Why a Cardano reserve? Arthur Hayes posted on X in response to this, stating, "Nothing new here, just words. Let me know when they get congressional approval to borrow money or revalue the gold price higher. Without that, they have no money to buy Bitcoin and shitcoins." And I completely agree with Arthur Hayes here. In my view, it is going to take much longer than many people anticipate to get a Bitcoin or crypto reserve. Um, Now, what I have suggested on this channel is that there is a high potential that what we will see is um, the US government state that any Bitcoin or crypto that they do have under their control, they will not sell and they will put it into a crypto reserve. That they may do because we know that the government has Bitcoin and probably some other cryptos as well. Um, so that's a potential that they're going to do that. But I agree, to actually buy Bitcoin or any crypto for that matter, they would need congressional approval to create this kind of reserve. And we know that Congress takes forever to do things. I mean, we even heard recently from the likes of Senator Cynthia Lummis, who's been taking on some heat recently because people are like, you keep saying there's progress, there's progress, there's progress, and we still don't see anything about a Bitcoin reserve. And as from a senator's perspective, she's got to get a lot of people on board with this to get it passed. So what is really going on? Well, she recently said that she expects progress towards a Bitcoin reserve to be slower at the federal level, and basically said that states are likely to adopt Bitcoin reserves before the US federal government does. She said this on February 28th during Bitcoin Investor Conference Week in New York. She said, "My bets are that you'll see a state have a Bitcoin strategic reserve before the federal government." Now, keep in mind, many states have already been kind of knocking down the Bitcoin reserve so far, including Wyoming, which is where Senator Lummis is from. And from the most part, Wyoming seems like a very crypto friendly state. But even being crypto friendly, kind of moving into the reserve status, it's a little nerve wracking for them. What we're going to be talking about a little bit later in this video is kind of the price action that we're also seeing in these cryptos, specifically Bitcoin, XRP, and Cardano, and the fact that this seems to me like a speculative push to bump the price up, but the traders know that, okay? We're going to go through the charts in just a minute. I have the charts here pulled up to show you actually what my thesis is on this and why I am or am not buying into this kind of news. Because I think that's the most important thing for you guys to understand is walking through the, understanding both sides, understanding how people feel about this. Are we really going to have a Bitcoin reserve? Are we going to get closer to it? Are they going to reallocate money from other locations? Are they going to just not sell the crypto that they have? I mean, there's so many questions here that we still don't know, but this could potentially be a big speculative move to get back in, especially after the market has fallen. We've been talking about Solana for quite a while now, but Solana has fallen basically 50% from its all-time record high, a little bit over $250. And so a lot of people would say that's the time to buy. But I agree with Arthur Hayes here. The states are going to be the first to get Bitcoin reserves, and they're not even kind of moving that fast into it. So what does this all actually mean? Well, this person, Beanie on X, who says a crypto native since the early days, he said, if you can read between the lines, it's pretty obvious that there will never be a strategic crypto reserve full of random tokens. Trump is a master negotiator, one of the best that's ever lived. And since he needs Congress on his side, he'll naturally start with a preposterous ask. Now, this is a very interesting convo because let's also keep in mind, we have to keep an eye on the World Liberty Finance portfolio as well. They don't have Solana in there. They don't have maybe they have XRP. I don't think that they do though. Maybe they do, but they don't have Solana in there, and they don't have Cardano in there, right? And World Liberty Finance is the Trump, the Trump financial DeFi ecosystem, right? Essentially. And so that when I saw this tweet, I was like, okay, this kind of makes a little bit of sense. Say, hey, we're going to put all these cryptos in it, and then Congress is going to come back and say, whoa, 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 whoa. We're open potentially to a Bitcoin reserve, but not a crypto reserve. That's probably what's going to happen, right? And then they can negotiate back and forth. And according to what Beanie's theory is, this is where you would land on a Bitcoin reserve and or a Bitcoin and Ethereum reserve, and everything else kind of conversation for later. We'll talk about that on the next go around or next year or next election cycle or whatever the situation is. That's a very interesting take, right? And some people are going to say, Cryptoviser, this is crazy. But if you look, Brian Armstrong, with whether you agree with him or not, like Coinbase or not, at the end of the day, I respect what he does, what he has done for crypto, and how he has guided Coinbase to be what they are today, right? Again, whether you agree or like Coinbase or not. But Coinbase has done a lot to make access to cryptocurrencies much more easy for everybody, whether they're approved regulatorily or not. And, you know, he doesn't seem to me like a Bitcoin maximalist or an Ethereum maximalist. Some people would probably say he's an Ethereum maximalist. I don't think he's anything. I think he's a crypto maximalist. But he wrote on X, he said, excited to learn more, still forming an opinion on asset allocation, but my current thinking is one, just Bitcoin would probably be the best option, simplest and clear story as successor to gold. And two, if folks wanted more variety, you could do a market cap weighted index of crypto assets to keep it unbiased. Probably number one is the easiest option. And obviously, number one is the easiest option of just keeping it Bitcoin. Guys, it's still an experiment, right? This whole monetary system changing. And this is why companies are not doing what MicroStrategy is doing. They're watching to see what happens to MicroStrategy. And people are going to say, yeah, but they're going to miss the boat. They're going to, no, crypto's not going to move that fast, especially when no other companies and countries are really buying it to this degree. I mean, even El Salvador, they only buy 1 Bitcoin a day. This is a very small amount. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's a small amount compared to all of the Bitcoin that's being mined in one particular day. So this is an interesting take from Brian, and I would imagine they're going to take some of his viewpoints into consideration as they're moving forward with this, because Coinbase knows what's going on in the markets, right? Now, Zach XBT, who people know on Twitter is like a crypto sleuth, he said one of the better indicators to judge how legitimate a chain is by how many native stables, meaning stable coins, that have been issued from Circle, Tether, or Paxos. Both ADA and XRP have 0 from major stablecoin issuers. Now, this is one thing that I've been saying since the previous cycle. I've been saying this since 2021, that Cardano needs stablecoins on it. And XRP, they were kind of in the middle of the whole thing with the SEC. But I don't know that they necessarily need stablecoins, right? XRP is not trying to be a smart contract platform, right? XRP is not trying to be a decentralized finance ecosystem. They're literally a payment processor, like they're creating their own stable coin. Yeah, does it really matter? No, because it needs connections to these other ecosystem if it really wants to be a major blockchain. But I don't even think that's what XRP is going for. Like, XRP is a payment processor, right? To move money fast and cheap. It's not meant to do all the other things. I guess the other things could probably benefit it, but I think that's kind of why XRP hasn't really went after the stable coins. But if you're talking about Cardano, I mean, this is a whole different story, guys. I mean, they were pushing for USDC not to be a conversation for Cardano for a long time, for whatever reason. And last cycle, I knew it. I was like, the liquidity that we're seeing in USDC, these are all the chains that have USDC. And Solana, Aptos, $87 million worth of USDC native to it. Arbitrum, $3.85 billion. Base, $3.66 billion. This is where money is moving through. And USDC is the regulated stable coin. Now, you could say Ripple's creating their own, but will it really get to where USDC and Tether are? I don't think that it probably will. Remember, the corridors and the places that are using XRP, these are very, very like low money. Like, their money is not as much as the US. Like, you can go there and live on like $1,000 a year, right? Maybe not that low, but you guys kind of get the point, where in the US you need $50,000 a year to live. There you only need $1,000 a year to live, right? So the stable coin issuance within the Ripple ecosystem probably won't be as high as, stable coins like Tether and USDC, or the liquidity. Anyway, that's just kind of my viewpoint on it. But the bottom line is that, yes, I agree with Zach that the stable coin issuance is so critical to these ecosystems for transacting, for interoperating, for moving money around. That is what this whole ecosystem is about. And Zach responded basically to the announcement or whatever. And then there were some other posts that he followed up. He said the point is that Circle, Paxos, and Tether would have already integrated with those chains if they saw value to capture. XRPL and Cardano are supposedly competitors to Ethereum or Solana, yet they couldn't attract major stablecoin issuers, right? And XRP is creating a regulated stablecoin. Cardano tried to, theirs is not yet regulated. But at the end of the day, who's using those coins? Are they interoperated? It's 2025, guys. We're not in 2020. We're not in 2019. Now, are these things that we're talking about going to have an effect on whether they include these coins in the reserve or not? Probably not. I mean, to be honest, this is going to be about money, in my view. Now, Zach also said, if you can't convince major stablecoin issuers to integrate your chain at a minimum, then why the F should the chain exist? And I would kind of agree. Now, even if these coins are added, right, XRP, Solana, and Cardano, which personally I'm neutral on. It doesn't matter to me what happens with this. Like I said, I personally don't think that it's going to occur. I think that Congress is only going to approve Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum in the short or even medium term. I think anything else beyond that is going to take a lot more time than people anticipate. But here's the deal, guys. Even if they add these coins, how much are they going to add? I mean, we already have examples of this, right? Grayscale already holds Cardano, not in its own trust. This is important to understand. They have their own Grayscale Solana trust, and they have a Grayscale XRP trust right here. So they already have an XRP trust with $11 million of assets under management. They have a Grayscale trust with $77.5 million of assets under management. No Cardano trust, but Cardano is in their digital large cap fund. This is kind of like a blend. This is what one of the posts, I think it was Brian Armstrong, said you could have like a blended top 10 cryptocurrencies in there, or by market cap, weighted by market cap. Well, in the Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund, Cardano is only 1% of the fund. Solana is only 3% of the fund. XRP is only 5.7% of the fund. Bitcoin and Ethereum are almost 90% of the fund. And so this is Grayscale's Digital Large Cap Fund is literally the portfolio that the president is talking about. And so if you look at it like this, even if they put $1 billion in, 1% of $1 billion is 10 million. If I'm doing the math right, I think it's $10 million, right? That's not that much money for Cardano or Solana or XRP when you're looking at their overall market cap and the overall market cap of crypto. Is it a start? Of course it's a start. But this is why I don't think that Congress is going to even pay any mind to it. They're like, we're not going to focus on this when this is going to be 1% or 2% or 5% of the portfolio. Like, we'll focus on the big numbers, right? And everything else we can do later on. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, I could be wrong on this. Bitwise, they also have Cardano and Solana and XRP in their portfolio. The Bitwise BitW Trust, or I think it's an ETF at this point. But anyway, XRP, they have 5.6%, Solana 3.2%, Cardano 1%. So very similar asset allocations to what we're seeing in Grayscale, including with Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? 76% and 12%. That's basically what Grayscale was. So that's important to keep in mind. The other thing that we have to keep in mind is the whole XRP coin, what do they call it? Basically the tokenomics, that's the word, tokenomics. So according to Zach XBT, the XRP address activated early by Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen still holds more than 2.7 billion XRP, which is about $7.1 billion US. These addresses associated with the founder transferred more than 109 million of XRP, $109 million to exchanges in January, basically a month or two ago. The founder previously suffered a $112 million hack in 2024. So the point about this is the tokenomics behind XRP are still not good. And this is also a problem, right? Because if you're a holder of the coin, this is what you have to think about. If you're a holder of the coin, and again, this is for Cardano, this is for XRP, this is for Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, it doesn't matter. You have to understand the tokenomics. So the tokenomics with XRP that we're talking about here is if you're holding the coin, you think if the US government starts buying, the price is going to go up, which it should. But that's if XRP had an open market. It doesn't. Because remember, Ripple still holds about 40 to 50% of the entire supply in escrow. And every single month, 1 billion coins unlock. And those billion coins can be sold on the open market by Ripple to then go and fund their operations, fund their growth or whatever. And you have this other thing that, we're hearing about that one of the other founders still holds 2.7 billion XRP, which is about 2 to 3% of the supply. So you have about over 50% of the supply still in Ripple and founders' hands. And so if you want the price to go up and the US government is buying the coins, or anybody's buying the coins for that matter, who are they buying the coins from? Because if they're buying it from Ripple, what they're unlocking from their escrow, even 100 million a month, that's $261 million that they are extracting from value. And so the price isn't going to go up because they're releasing coins from escrow or wherever onto the market. And so they're therefore inflating, which devalues the price. So the price should go up, but it's also being offset by the devaluation. So it doesn't actually go up, or it may go up temporarily, but then when the actual tokenomics come into play, the price will crash back down. Now, we've seen this happen over and over in other cryptos, specifically newer cryptos that just launched during the ICO craze, during DeFi summer in 2019. But we haven't seen this really happen that much anymore because the tokenomics of a lot of these newer coins they're put on delayed releases. So if you're a founder, you can only release a certain amount every month over the course of 5 years. And then you see those unlocks occurring and you can gauge where the market is. So the tokenomics of newer coins are usually much better than they used to be, where it would be like 90% would be founder coins and 10% would be for community. And then they would just dump at one point and everything would crash and it would never be able to recover, right? One chart that you can look at that would explain this phenomenon would be Internet Computer Protocol, right? The way that it launched, we didn't know what the tokenomics looked like, or it wasn't widely publicized. And who ended up crashing the price? FTX, right? And FTX, those traders on there. And did they own the coin? Were they just perpetual futures contracts messing with a derivative area? Like, who knows? But that's what was going on. And so we have to keep that in mind about XRP as well. Does the government want to buy coins directly from Ripple? I don't know. Do holders want that to happen? And so these are the questions that we have to ask. For me personally, this is I still think that we have further down to go in the markets. Personally, that's kind of how I feel. I don't see any catalyst that's going to change anytime near, right? We saw a little bit of a bump in the price after this announcement, but look at what happened, right? So we're going to look at Cardano here. On the price chart, you can see it was at about 65, 66 cents, and then it shot up to $1, basically 12, right? So almost doubled in price, basically an 80% increase in just a quick day, few hours, okay? And then what happened? The price started coming down. And it didn't really recover back to this over $1 price point. Now, by the time you're watching this video, obviously things may have changed. But the point is, did this pump have any energy in it, right? Because this was an announcement of something potentially going to happen in the future, right? Trump didn't say that they're buying it now. And so this was a speculative move to the upside. But here's the problem. The speculative move to the upside was sold off almost immediately. So look, the price jumped at about 11:50 a.m. It pumped all the way up to about 7:15 p.m., right? So about basically about 7 hours, and then came down fairly substantially, right? From 112, 115 down to 90 cents. So about 15-20% down. And so when you see a sell like that, to me, it means people are selling hard, right? Especially a lot of people keep saying on YouTube videos, on social media, in the comments, that we haven't even hit the bull market yet, right? So if you're that bullish, why are we seeing a sell-off here immediately after the price pumps, right? And you could say, well, it's a speculative move because Trump just made the announcement. Yeah, but speculative moves don't just move up like 80% and then drop off, right? Like typically you see much harder moves to the upside. Solana, I would say basically the same thing, right? You can see here, Solana was selling off $126 in the last couple of days. Then it went to about $140 and then boom, shot up to about 175. So from 140 to 175 is like, I don't know, 20-25% move. And then XRP, let's look at XRP. It went from about $2.20 to about $2.90. So 35% move, 30 to 40% move to the upside, but immediately sold off. Immediately sold off. Solana immediately sold off. Bitcoin didn't immediately sell off. It's maintained its strength. And this is kind of where I'm looking at a little bit more. I'm looking at the Bitcoin price and the Ethereum price, because Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is where the money is actually flowing, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum actually have billions and billions and billions of dollars in liquidity that can enter the market tomorrow through ETFs. Cardano doesn't have that. Solana doesn't have that. And XRP doesn't have that just yet. They may in the future, but right now we're not there. And so when I look at Ethereum, oh my God, Ethereum, everything's in the red. But you can see here yesterday, $2,200, and it shot up to $2,500. Now it's come down as well. So that means the only thing that actually had strength in that little rally was Bitcoin. Everything else immediately sold off. And so what happens if we go back up again? What happens if we go to $1.10, $1.20, $1.30, $1.40 in Cardano? What happens if we go back to $250 in Solana? Is there going to be more selling going on? It's usually not the first pump that you see selling in. And the fact that we've saw that and the rally did not really, it didn't follow through, at least in the short term, makes me a little bit more concerned that this is just a speculative move and that the market is looking for any narrative to push up without kind of thinking about what is actually going on. Are they really going to have a Bitcoin reserve? What is Friday's meeting going to look like? What is going to be announced? What kind of approvals need to happen for this to occur? Obviously, you guys know I want a Bitcoin reserve to occur, whether they have crypto altcoins in it or not. It doesn't matter. I think that any of this Bitcoin and crypto allocation in traditional finance is going to be very good for all of the assets. But, is it really going to happen or not? And that's the question that I think everybody's kind of waiting to see. Going back to Arthur Hayes' tweet, just words, let me know when you have congressional approval to borrow money or revalue the gold higher. And so we'll see kind of what goes on with this, but I would anticipate we're going to see a lot of volatility to the upside and probably to the downside as well as we kind of get to the U.S. budget deadline, when we get to the Federal Reserve meeting, because this is really going to lay out for the rest of the year like what these companies need to do, whether they need to continue to lay off people, whether they're going to get more business, whether their loans are going to be cheaper, people's homes, right? Do they need to sell now? Are they going to be able to, do they have to drop their price even lower? I mean, I'm seeing home prices everywhere come down substantially. I think that they're going to come down even further if the Federal Reserve does not lower rates, because they've already lowered 0.5 percentage point and the mortgage rate has not really come down at all. And home prices, people still think they're getting what they could have gotten 2 years ago. And it's like, you can't get that anymore, And so kind of we're going to have to wait and see kind of how this all plays out. But in terms of this reserve, Let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's happening? Do you think it's not happening? Do you think it's going to be a lot longer? Like, what is going on here? And how do you think it's going to reflect on the prices of XRP, Solana, and Cardano? I'll see you when I see you. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and crypto on.